Karoline Leavitt has developed quite a reputation for fiery outbursts and sidestepping direct questions, a strategy that often lands her in hot water. This time, her reaction hit a new level after Governor Gavin Newsom responded with a lawsuit, sparking what can only be described as a full-on public meltdown. We'll break it all down in just a moment. But first, if you're enjoying the content and want to help the channel grow, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe. It really makes a big difference. Now, before we dive into the details of Newsom's legal move and Leavitt's reaction, let's start with the latest development in the ongoing redistricting battle with Donald Trump, and exactly what Newsom said that set this chain of events in motion.
We are moving forward. Make no mistake. California is moving forward as a state that's larger than 21 state populations combined. We are not a small, isolated state. State larger than 21 populations combined. We tried to play by a higher set of standards and rules with our independent redistricting, and we believe in that. And we are not talking about eliminating that commission. We are talking about emergency measures to respond to what's happening in Texas, and we will nullify what happens in Texas. We will pick up 5 seats with the consent of the people, and that's the difference between the approach we're taking and the approach they're taking. We're doing it on a temporary basis. We're doing it in a fully transparent way, and we're doing it by asking the people of the state of California for their consent and support. Mark that stark contrast to what's happening in Texas and other states.
Governor Newsom also made this post today, mocking Donald Trump, writing, "Donald Taco Trump, as many call him, missed the deadline. California will now draw new, more beautiful maps. They will be historic as they will end the Trump presidency. Dems take back the House. Big press conference this week with powerful Dems and Gavin Newsom, your favorite governor that will be devastating for MAGA. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Gavin Newsom, which led, of course, Trump to freak out and attack Newsom, as we can see right here."
Spirit, they've lost their heart because the mayor's incompetent and Gavin Newsom is incompetent. Got a good line of bullshit, but that's about it. He's incompetent. And you have Los Angeles is... You know, it's amazing. You know, I called, the first thing I did, I got the Olympics to go there. I was the one that got it. And
the trolling from Gavin Newsom and his team, A+. I said this when I had the great opportunity a little bit ago to sit down with the governor and have an interview, which I do suggest you check out. We had a lot of fun mocking our least favorite people in this administration, but this press office is killing it, and it gets under Donald Trump's skin. It distracts him, but it also delivers a message in a way that we need it to be delivered with strength, in a way that is not intimidated, that is ruthless, not feckless. And that has been kind of the mantra of Gavin Newsom right now. And he's not backing down in any way, especially when Donald Trump attacks his state, which is what he's doing right now. Gavin Newsom shot back at him. Then we're going to get into the lawsuit. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday blasted Donald Trump's demand for $1 billion from UCLA over anti-Semitism allegations in return for millions of dollars in frozen federal research grants, describing the president's move as an attempt to silence academic freedom. Newsom continued in this clip where you see right here.
Donald Trump today is trying to silence academic freedom. He's attacking one of the most important public institutions in the United States of America, one of the finest institutions of higher learning in the world, one of the great research institutions in this country, one of the reasons California is the tentpole of the U.S. economy, one of the reasons we have more scientists, engineers, more Nobel laureates than any other state in this nation. He has threatened us through extortion with $1 billion fine unless we do his bidding. So as long as I'm governor, I will stand tall and push back against that. And I believe every member of California legislature feels the same way.
Donald Trump appears to be putting pressure on yet another university, a tactic he's used before with mixed results. While some in the past have caved to his demands, it's clear that UCLA and Governor Gavin Newsom are not going to be intimidated. They understand that when you stand up to a bully, you take away their power. Because giving in only encourages them to come back for more. Newsom is taking a firm stand, announcing that he's hitting back at Trump with a lawsuit targeting the administration's actions. And when Karoline Leavitt heard the news, her reaction was nothing short of a complete on-air meltdown.
Go ahead. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Gavin Newsom has said that California is going to sue in response to the government's demand for $1 billion from UCLA over the DOJ's anti-Semitism findings. Newsom has called this extortion and ransom, so I'm wondering what the White House's response is to Newsom on UCLA.
Bring it on, Gavin. This administration is well within its legal right to do this, and we want to ensure that our colleges and our universities are respecting the First Amendment rights and the religious liberties of students on their campuses, and UCLA has failed to do that. And I have a whole list of examples that I will forward to Gavin Newsom's press office if he hasn't seen them himself. Brett.
Bring it on? Really, Karoline? I doubt it. This administration complains about every ruling that goes against them, except the ones that protect them from scrutiny. Take the Ghislaine Maxwell case. They claim they can't release certain records, but Donald Trump could make them public if he wanted. He just doesn't. This selective outrage is nothing new. It's why they're so shaken by Governor Gavin Newsom's lawsuit. Trump keeps losing, and as midterms approach, those defeats will weigh heavier. Newsom's right. Trump's influence ends when Democrats retake the House, and, with enough effort in key states, the Senate. Instead of focusing on policy or approval ratings, Trump is trying to manipulate the system for more seats. In D.C., there's been a noticeable spike in police presence, especially at Howard University, a historically black college, seen by many as pure intimidation. Critics say it fits a troubling pattern, and journalist Nicole Wallace recently broke down why this surge in enforcement is happening now.
The shock, just to say it out loud. There are boots on the ground in the streets of our nation's capital this afternoon, today. National Guard troops arrived earlier today, acting on orders from their commander-in-chief to execute a takeover of Washington, D.C.'s police department in order to fight crime, which data suggests is at its lowest in decades. And we should point out, which hasn't been done in the past to solve crime or anything else. Earlier, Mayor Muriel Bowser met with Attorney General Pam Bondi, along with several top Justice Department officials, about how to actually implement Trump's new directive, as protests have erupted across Washington, D.C. And while administration officials maintain that Donald Trump's decision to federalize D.C.'s police force is entirely legal, there are clear and obvious questions and concerns about what happens next. More specifically, what if this is just the beginning? On that topic, the Washington Post today, citing internal Pentagon documents, published exclusive new reporting into a plan that would formalize a so-called military reaction force for deployment in instances of civil unrest. Quote, the plan calls for 600 troops to be on standby at all times so they can deploy in as little as 1 hour, the documents say. They would be split into two groups of 300 and stationed at military bases in Alabama and Arizona, with purview of regions east and west of the Mississippi River, respectively. Remember, Donald Trump's military takeover of Washington is just the latest instance of the ways in which Trump has directed the military to take action on American soil against Americans. From the New York Times, quote, already this year, Trump has deployed some 10,000 active duty troops to the southwest U.S. border to choke off the flow of drugs as well as migrants, and 4,700 National Guard troops and Marines to Los Angeles to help quell protests that had erupted over immigration raids and to protect the federal agents conducting them. All but about 250 of those National Guard troops have since been withdrawn. Now there will be 800 National Guard troops on the streets of Washington, D.C. for the foreseeable future. We don't really know how long they'll be there. But we cannot say that we weren't warned. Remember what General John Kelly told the New York Times in an interview before the November election.
And I think this issue of using the military to go after American citizens is one of those things I think is a very, very bad thing. Even to say it for political purposes to get elected, I think it's a very, very bad thing, let alone actually doing it. When I was in the White House, for that matter, DHS, I was, originally the conversation would be, Mr. President, that's outside your authority, or, that's a routine use. You really don't want to do that inside the United States. But now that he's talking about it as I'm going to do it, it's disturbing.
In my view, what's happening in D.C. right now is Donald Trump testing a dangerous precedent, showing he can step in, control a police force, and frame it as keeping the peace. Even though crime in the city has dropped significantly, he's trying to claim the credit and sell himself as the one who stops unrest and keeps people safe. Commentators have noted he's called this a test case for other cities like Baltimore, Oakland, New York, and L.A., aiming his message at people who already fear urban areas. The real concern is that he could use this as cover for intimidating voters and election workers, all while insisting it's about safety. That's not reality on Tawit, and it's something we need to call out now. Thanks for watching this video, and if you stuck around at the end, you can drop the blue heart in the comments, and until next time, I will see you.